Hello and welcome. My name's Cambell from AutoDidactic channel. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Thank you for joining me. And of course, as always, a big thank you to everyone who supports this channel and my work through PayPal, Patreon, my merch store, all that kind of stuff. And if you would like to help out, there are links below. And I really do appreciate you all. And of course, everyone who does support me by liking, sharing, subscribing, and all that kind of stuff. And of course, if you haven't subscribed, liked, shared, hit the bell, please do all of the above. And let's help get this information out there that history is just his story. It's not our story. It's just a story authored by authority. And so today we are going to go and have a look at a mud brick town. It's actually a mud brick city with what they're calling skyscrapers that are up to 11 stories tall, made of mud brick. And it's called the Manhattan of the Desert for obvious reasons. And this place, it's in Yemen, called Shibam, and it's basically in the middle of the desert, and it's a 500-year-old mud brick city. So let's jump in and have a look. Against the stunning backdrop of cliffs, the UNESCO World Heritage Site sits on a rocky spur high above the river valley of Wadi Hadramaut in the arid center of Yemen. Some of the hundreds of fantastical sun-dried mud brick towers, many dating back to the 16th century, soar 7 stories high, nestled within a traditional fortified wall built for protection. The UN describes the city once as an oasis, stop for camels and caravans on the Spice Trail, as one of the oldest and best examples of urban planning based on the principle of vertical construction. But Shibam is struggling because the crumbling mud brick constructions need constant repair. Yemen's economy had collapsed in the brutal civil war raging since 2014, creating what the UN describes as the world's worst humanitarian crisis. And now the city looks like it was hit by a disaster without precedent, local officials say. And you can see some of the buildings are crumbling in this place. And basically, they need constant repair to keep them from falling over. So this is Shibam in Yemen, all made of mud brick skyscrapers. Shibam or Shibam, I'm calling it Shibam. And it's basically got skyscrapers, tall buildings up to 11 stories tall, all made of mud brick. And apparently it's a 500-year-old walled city, of course, in the middle of the desert. Shibam Hadramaut is a town in Yemen with about 7,000 inhabitants. It is the seat of the district of Shibam and in the governorate of Hadramaut. Known for its mud brick made high-rise buildings, it is referred to as the Chicago of the desert or the Manhattan of the desert. And we don't have a lot of history. All we have is that the first known inscriptions about the city dates are from the 3rd century CE. It was the capital of Hadramaut Kingdom in the 20th century, and it was one of 3 major cities in the Qurati Sultanate, the others being Al-Makali and Ashir. The city was listed within the UNESCO World Heritage List in 1982. And they say this is about 1,700 years old. So here's a few pictures of Shibam, not Shazam, Shibam. And as you see, we're told this is all mud brick. Now, this is clearly rock. This is a rock wall. I'm just looking at these shapes, right? We have a door here, and we have this shape that we see everywhere, right? These sort of half vesica pisces arches. We have them above the windows. There's towers here with the belfries, a dome on top, and a spire. So this it looks very old world, doesn't it? But they're saying it's made completely of mud, because these are very tall buildings to be made of. I mean, even if they were made of proper rammed earth, it'd be pretty hard to get them that tall. Here's a shot of the streets, just rocks lying around everywhere in the desert. But as you can see, we've got these just familiar, the shapes, the sort of, what we're told are the sort of Islamic shapes that we see them everywhere. They're probably more Moorish, and they don't really look like mud buildings. What do you think? Here we have the dirt roads, of course. And again, this dome thingy here, doorways, this in the middle here with the onion dome on it. And we're told everything is made of mud. Clearly that's carved wood. Shibam is the oldest city in the world to have used vertical construction techniques, some of the buildings reaching as high as 11 stories. The city even predates the spread of Islam in the Arabian Peninsula, as it was known to exist as early as the 4th century. However, much of the construction present today occurred around 1532. Wow, all in 1 year. That's pretty good. Strategically placed, it sits on a rocky knoll in the center of Wadi Hadramaut for 3 main purposes: to avoid being inundated by floods, to keep its crops in its walls, and for defense. So there we go. That's all. Because it's also a walled city, this place. Again, not much on the history. Shibam was devastated by a massive flood in 1532, as the city's raised elevation didn't protect it from the largest of torrents. The mud brick foundations of many of the high-rise buildings were badly damaged when the water surged through. There are still some original structures, but most were wiped out. 12th century castle. Currently, Shibam's fortified old city consists of over 500 dwellings. Later in the 16th century, Shibam would be fortified by the addition of a wall built around the existing city to help prevent the same damage from another devastating flood. And maintenance of the mud brick skyscrapers is an ever-going process, with mud being brought in from the surrounding harvested crops to repair eroded and broken bricks in the ancient structures. So there we go. So they're saying they're mud bricks because they don't really, I've had a bit of a look, and they don't really tell how any of these were constructed. And of course, they're saying that it was all built 500 years ago. So there you have it. Shibam, the city of mud towers, skyscrapers. They don't really scrape the sky, but tall mud buildings up to 11 stories tall that have been standing for 500 years. Yet when a flood comes, they start washing away. So what are they saying? That there was no floods or rain in the last 500 years, and this has only just started, to wash away the city? Because now, as you can see in some of the photos, it's almost crumbling apart. But again, 500 years it's been standing there with no worries. So what's really going on with Shibam? And there are other towns similar in the same area in Yemen, so I'll probably have a look into them in the future as well. So thank you for spending some time with me, guys. I hope you enjoyed that one. Just a short little look at the mud skyscrapers in Yemen. So don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And of course, stay awesome, and I'll talk to you all on the next upload. Bye for now.